I just want to have the strongest QB room possible for the stretch run in the playoffs. And to me, that means Trey Lance has to get some experience. I mean, I think Brock can improve, but the last thing I want to see is Brock come in, start week one, play well, maybe improve a little bit during the season, because I don't think he's hit his ceiling, but I think he's close. And then towards the end of the season or in the playoffs, he gets hurt and he shoves Trey Lance in with no more experience and hadn't had a chance to improve himself. I think that's one of the doomsday scenarios for this season. Whereas if you start Lance off, he could play really well, never look back. If he plays poorly, you can always pop Purdy back in, assuming that he's better. But I mean, that's the other thing too, is we just don't even know when Purdy is going to be ready. I mean, that's another place where the messaging from Kyle and Lynch is sort of incongruent. They're not really agreeing on. I mean, Lynch said, "Oh, we think he'll be back for training camp." Kyle says week 1 to 4. But then Kyle says in the same breath or the breath before, "Oh yeah, 6 to 8 months." And Grant, 8 months from March 10th is November 10th. That's actually Thursday night football, week 10, not week 4. So, and I've talked to two different doctors about it too.
I have an interpretation. Yeah. I feel like John is trying to tie Kyle down to Brock. Brock's great. Brock's our guy. And Kyle's like, "Hey man, we just went on 2 dates. Like, it was a good 2 dates, but I kind of carried the conversation. Like, both of them, like, slow down, bud." I think that's kind of what's happening. Like, once again, this is what John did with Jimmy. Over the moon, real fast. Kyle's like, wait a second. It's the system. It's the weapons. It's me. I like Brock, but not like that. I'm not gonna propose. So I think there's a little bit of that going on. Like, Kyle just pushing back, being like, "Hey man, maybe if he doesn't start right away, Sam Darnold is good." And I think Kyle just wants to maintain his bachelor status. Like, he doesn't want to be tied down to Brock. Like, that's why he's talking about Darnold. Like, man, I could do this with Sam. John, chill. I could do this with Sam. Watch. Like, it's not. Stop falling for the first quarterback that like wins the game for you, man. Like, come on. I think a little bit of that's going on. God love Kyle, man. Don't lose this battle.
So you're saying John Lynch is the angry father there with the shotgun, trying to make sure that Kyle walks down the aisle with Purdy.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Commit.
Yeah. I'll leave out the middle part. But
you went on 2 dates. You're good. She's the one for you. Commit. And Kyle's like, "Hey, man, no, I got another date lined up next week."
Kyle's swiping right.
Yeah. It's like, man, I've been trying to holler at this quarterback for like 5 years, man. Nah, I'm waiting on this one. He's been trying to holler. Now he's got Darnold in the building.
Yeah, because we don't know when Purdy will be back. I mean, ultimately, they're basing all this information off a bunch of pitchers, right? The 6 to 7 months.
Nick Mullins.
And we don't even know if Nick Mullins is 100% now, 2.5 years later.
No idea.
No idea.
We know. Look, if you look at his numbers, though, in preseason in 2021, and then that one start he made in 2021 in Cleveland, he was not himself. So, I mean, I'm thinking Purdy, he could get cleared, but I do not think he's going to look anything like he looked last year. I think that's going to wait until 2024 for him to make the full recovery, if he ever makes it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's really interesting. I mean, so these pitchers are pitching from a mound, and Purdy's going to be in the middle of a pocket. So, like, there's doubts as to
throwing a much heavier ball,
right?
Heavier ball,
different motion. Yep. Until how long will Purdy be ready to rip it?
Could get hit
from there. Could get hit, yeah, and could be afraid of getting hit, which happens to a lot of quarterbacks in the pocket.
Is the elbow able to withstand contact? Because the way pitchers blow out their elbows is not through contact. It's just from wear and tear and overuse. That's not what happened here. So can he take – the guy is little. I know they list him at 6'1", 220. Have you seen him in person? No. He is 6 feet, like 195. Get out of here with that. He's my size with like bigger quads. No way.
Big quads, yeah. They called him Baby Bosa in camp.
He's listed at the same size as Jalen Hurts. Hell no. He was listed at 212 at the combine. I don't know how the Niners put him at 220. I bet you he's 205 soaking wet. 205 tops. Little.
And how much weight do you think he's lost not being able to work out all this time? He's not doing any bench presses or curls or anything like that. So upper body probably atrophied some even since then.
He shouldn't play this year. The Niners have all these quarterbacks. Kyle's so confident. Also, if you like him as much as you say you do, why? He's the future. Forget this year. One, you got Kyle, you got this great team. He likes Darnold. You got Trey Lance. You're invested, and Brock's your future. Like no reason to rush him back. You know, there's a million reasons not to.
No doubt about it. Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest reason is get Lance some experience. Now, what about the Adam Peters to the Texans? What do you think about that rumor that's going around?
Well, it would require Nick Caserio to get fired, and he came out this week and said he's not going to get fired. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's interesting. Like a lot of people have left the Niners organization in the last few years over, and it's like, is it because of the quarterback thing? Was there disagreements? Do some people want trade, not want trade? I don't know. If Trey gets traded and Adam Peters leaves shortly after, what would that mean? Would that mean that he didn't want Trey Lance to get traded? That he didn't want to be associated with a front office that would commit organizational malpractice by giving all that for a guy and then getting rid of him before letting him prove himself? Like, I don't know. So I wonder if that's a little connected. Like all of a sudden, rumors of Trey Lance getting traded and rumors of Adam Peters leaving come out in the same week. Like what is that about? So I don't know. I kind of feel like he's going to stay and Trey's going to stay. And this is all like posturing and stuff, but we'll see.
Well, did Caserio totally deny it though? Or didn't he say something like the talks haven't gotten to that level yet? Like, wasn't it something along those lines?
You tell me.
Where like it sounded like there was maybe some whispers or they like talked about it, but we were not really that serious. I think he left the door open at least a smidge.
I could see that if D'Amico Ryans has more power right now in that front office than in among the ownership than Caserio, then I could definitely see D'Amico saying, I want my guy. That's how all these guys are. They always want to work with people they know. Like D'Amico doesn't really know Nick Caserio that well, which means can he trust Nick Caserio? Can Nick Caserio trust him? He probably feels he could trust Adam Peters because they know each other. So it depends what the owner wants to do. Who are you listening to? Who has the juice right now in that organization, D'Amico or Caserio? And it sounds like it's D'Amico. So yeah, to your point, this could happen. This could happen because look, like D'Amico got the 6-year contract, like Kyle. And if they're trying to set up if D'Amico said, hey, for me to succeed here, you got to let me be Kyle. You got to let me have the same exact setup Kyle has because that's what you want, right? Well, then Kyle runs the organization here. So maybe D'Amico runs it over there. I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we will. Chad New says perhaps Trey's injury prone, worth investing in. I mean, we can't say that Trey's not injury prone at this point. Yep. I mean, I don't think it's enough to say one way or the other, but it's a concern. And like, that's what I've been saying as far as like, I think that eventually Trey will hit his ceiling or come close to it and be a better QB than Purdy, but injuries could definitely keep him from doing that. And lack of experience could keep him from doing it. Injuries would be the main way, or Purdy not giving him a chance are the two ways I see that happening.